Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Again, I'm here for a beautiful video, where I have done my research and I'm going to share a sector. And based on that sector, I'm going to share some stocks, right? So this is my website, stockpro.online.com. You can follow me here. You can follow me on my Twitter handle, and you can definitely watch all the YouTube videos that I have made about technical analysis and various stock selection. राइट सो चलते हैं और बात करते हैं आज के वीडियो की एंड किस सेक्टर पे आज हमारा ध्यान जा रहा है. सो आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट पेपर सेक्टर, or out of the paper sector, the question is which paper stock is worth your attention. All of you know that the paper is almost every time it's in demand, right? I'm going to discuss various reasons why is it so. And before that, I'm your host, Dr. Seema Jain. I'm a SEBI-registered research analyst. I keep publishing my research absolutely free for people, right? Anybody can trade trusting the kind of work that I do. And you can follow me at different places. You can take a screenshot, or you can go to the description box of this video and get the link of all the different places that we are active, right? So the paper company that can quickly expand capacity and is backward integrated with sufficiency in major inputs will be better placed to take advantage of rise in product prices. So why the price of paper going up? Why there is a demand at this point of time? A lot of things are happening because of the war that is going on, right? So let's discuss. So one of the company that one can think about is the Genus paper and the board. There are two companies I'm specifically going to talk about. So this company has successfully commenced production of duplex paper from one of the production lines at new unit of Muzaffarnagar, Uttar Pradesh. The Muzaffarnagar unit has manufacturing facilities for production of craft paper and duplex paper. The highlights are basically rise in paper prices leads to rally in paper stocks. Global paper supply is tighter amid Russia-Ukraine conflict. India net exporter of paper. Input cost pressure lingers. Integrated players with self-sufficiency of major inputs better placed. So always remember, because of the war that's going on, India can be a very, very big contender for export of paper. So paper stocks have majorly seen a sharp rally of over 30% in last 1 month. The biggest reason behind the rally has been the price hikes across all product categories. But the big question in investors' mind is this: is the sharp uptick a knee-jerk reaction to the ongoing Russian-Ukraine conflict, or is it sustainable? Right? That's the question. कि ये लंबे समय तक चलेगा पेपर में इंक्रीमेंट, पेपर प्राइस में इंक्रीमेंट, या कहीं पे एक डिमांड सप्रेस हो सकती है. Now, fallout of Russia-Ukraine crisis, while the situation is still very much in flux, there's no doubt that Russia's invasion of Ukraine has affected the paper sector, especially in Europe. So most of the paper that was supplied to Russia was from Europe, right? So now Western countries have put a lot of sanctions. In terms of paper and board trade, sanctions against Russia and suspension of operations of Ukraine paper mills will have a knock-on effect on Europe. Europe exports some 800,000 to 900,000 tons of paper and board to Russia. Right now, West has put the sanctions on Russia, so Europe will not be supplying this paper. However, losing Russia-bound shipments is a bit more manageable for most trades, as Russia accounts for only a small share of total Europe's exports. In fact, European imports more or less the same amount of Russia every year, mostly kraftliner, newsprint, and uncoated wood-free. While EU could suffer a short-term shortage with restricted Russian imports, better availability from North America could compensate for the potential loss of Russian kraftliner. The bigger impact on European paper mills has been from a surge in energy cost. So you all know that the biggest supplier to European countries about the gas and everything was Ukraine. Now Ukraine is entangled in a war with Russia, so the supply of gas is pretty much affected. Now the prices of gas has gone really up, and hence the cost of manufacturing the paper has gone up in Europe. So paper mills in Europe are announcing downtime due to the unprecedented energy prices. Consequently, there has been a massive upsurge in the prices for most of the publication and fine paper grades in Europe. Now, India is better placed as net exporter. With an estimated turnover of 80,000 crore, rupees 80,000 crore, the Indian paper industry accounts for almost about 5% of the world's production. Since the per capita paper consumption in India at around 15 kg is way behind the global average of 57 kg. So Indians don't use that much paper, right? Whereas in Western countries or in Russia or Ukraine, the paper consumption per person is about 57 kg. Whereas in India, it's just about 15 kg. The paper consumption is not huge. It presents an exciting scenario. India is the fastest growing market for paper globally, and paper consumption is poised for a big leap forward in sync with economic growth. As far as trade is concerned, there's a limited disruption due to the war, as India is a net exporter in all categories of paper except the newsprint, right? Now let's just understand through the statistics what is happening. If you see here, this is the imports, right? This is the Indian import, which has gone down drastically from the year 20 onwards, right? Whereas the exports have been consistently increasing, right? So India is a net exporter of the papers. Then it says pulp and paper industry in India, export and imports of paper. So if you notice here, newsprint is what we import massively, right? This is the kind of paper that we import, right? Whereas in all other we actually exporter, right? If you see the uncoated paper, paperboard, writing, printing, and other, we are exporter, right? Toilet paper, we are exporter, more export than the import. Uncoated craft paper, again India is an exporter. Similarly, other coated paper and paperboard, we are majorly exporter, right? Paper and paperboard coated, total we are exporter of 2191 tons, yeah, whatever this quantity is, and import is slightly lesser, right? So that actually puts India in a very much better place, right? We're going to understand a bit more about it. Now, after a decline in year 21 due to the pandemic, paper demand is poised to rise. A strong revival in consumer spending amid the waning impact of COVID-19 is expected to help the paper packaging industry bounce back. Now, after year 2021, there was a decline in the paper demand, but now because COVID is just getting over, there could be a bounce back in the industry. Also, the opening of the schools and colleges, offices, and courts will help in reviving the demand for writing and printing paper. Then we come to the pulp and paper industry of India, right? The production, how much is the production? 3438 in year 2021. Installed capacity of paper and paperboard is 4794. So capacity utilization is only 72%, right? We are not even utilizing 100%. So overall, all the demand supply gap is likely to turn favorable. Right now, there is a gap between the demand and the supply. Capacity is only utilized about 72%. So if this becomes 100%, the entire our production system will be having a 100% utilization. So moreover, better realization due to the hike in paper prices will drive healthy revenue growth for paper companies. That said, investors need to be cautious as input prices are rising rapidly. So raw material supply, cost inflation are key concern, right? In this industry, जो क्या चीज सबसे ज्यादा मैटर करेगी? रॉ मटेरियल. ये समझते हैं कि इसमें रॉ मटेरियल क्या चाहिए होता है. तो इसमें जैसे लकड़ी चाहिए होती है, बैम्बू चाहिए होता है, रिसाइकल फाइबर चाहिए होता है, बेगासी चाहिए होता है, व्हीट स्ट्रॉ चाहिए होता है, राइस हस्क चाहिए होता है, राइट? In terms of the share in total production approximation, 21% of the mills are based on wood, 71% on recycled fibers, waste paper, and 8% on agro residues. All these factors have forced paper companies to hike prices across all product categories. So always remember that pulp and paper manufacturing sector is energy and raw material intensive, right? Paper बनाने के लिए जो सबसे important चीज है, it's not the machinery, but it is the pulp, right? Pulp which is generated from the wood या waste papers जो होते हैं, पुराने papers हैं, उनसे pulp बनाते हैं, wood से pulp बनाते हैं, bamboo से pulp बनाते हैं, और उसके ऊपर depend करता है. तो and as it is, we know there is a restriction on, tree cannot be just cut like that again and again, right? So there is a restriction on the material. So because there is huge demand and the supply is low, the cost of the paper is about to go up, right? Now, which stock should be on the investor stock? So investors radar. So what I have done, I have made a list of almost all the paper stocks, right? So no doubt input costs are on an uptrend, but the rise will be varying for different companies, depending on the raw material used. Backward integrated players with sufficiency in all major inputs, raw material, water and power, will be able to sustain margins. Further, a company that can quickly expand capacity will be better placed to take advantage of elevated प्रोडक्ट प्राइसेस. तो ऐसी कौन सी कंपनी है जो कि बेटर इक्विप्ड है, जो अपनी कैपेसिटी को क्विकली एक्सपैंड कर सके, जो कि जल्दी से रॉ मटेरियल, वाटर, पावर सबको एक्सेस कर सकती है. तो मेरे रडार पे 2-3 कंपनीज हैं. एक कंपनी है अर्निंग्स विजिबिलिटी एंड वैल्यूएशन. सो जेके पेपर हैज विटनेस्ड सिग्निफिकेंट मार्जिन एक्सपेंशन एंड ईयर 18 to 20 on the back of increased realization, lower input cost, and improved operating efficiencies. The improvement in operating efficiencies was led by the reduction in lead distance of wood procurement, farm forestry, coverage improvement in plant yields, reduction in power, coal and water consumption, etc., which resulted in cost savings that are sustainable through the cycle. तो आप सोचोगे कि मैं क्यों नहीं जल्दी से स्टॉक दे देती हूँ, मैं सब आपके साथ क्यों शेयर कर रही हूँ. आपको बिजनेस समझना चाहिए कि बिजनेस में मतलब प्राइस एक चीज है, बिजनेस एक चीज है. जब आप प्राइस और बिजनेस को कंबाइन करेंगे तो आपको एक बहुत ब्यूटीफुल ब्रेकआउट स्टॉक मिलेगा, राइट? तो इसीलिए मैं आपके साथ ये सारा डेटा शेयर कर रही हूँ. JK Paper is one of the lowest cost producers of writing and printing paper in India. While products realization are largely market linked and can change with the demand and supply scenario. You can see JK Paper's EBITDA margins. They have been continuously growing, right? In year 2020, they have grown to 32%, from 22 to 28 to 32. Then there is a little bit of decline because of, you can understand, because of COVID, the paper demand was much lesser. To be sure, JK Paper will also face rising input cost pressure, but the impact is likely to be less as compared to many other players. Also, recent price hikes should help support margins. After the sharp rally of over 50% year to date, JK Paper is trading at 6 times of EV/EBITDA and 6.6 times of PE basis estimated in year 23. This is reasonable considering the potential earning growth that the ROE, the return on equity, is above 18%. So, conclusion, strong earning visibility, upside triggers arising from the ramping up additional capacity required. Sirpur paper mill and a planned unit, central pulp paper in Gujarat, along with a reasonable valuation. JK Paper is a worthy stock. Despite a sharp rally, however, the stock price will remain highly vulnerable in the inherent cyclicality in the paper industry. So what I want to do now, ये सब आपको समझाने के बाद कि कैसे इंडिया इज गोइंग टू बेनिफिट अगर इंडिया रशिया को एक्सपोर्ट करना शुरू करती है पेपर्स, paper board, etc. How and what companies will benefit, that's one thing. Second thing is कौन से ऐसे stock है in the entire paper industry which can still give you a good momentum. So let's go to the screen and we will try to figure out. So let me take you to the paper industry and paper stocks, and from there we will try to visualize which stock could be a good will be giving a good momentum, right? So here we are. This is the graph. So here is Balakrishna Industries. It is almost in the upper circuit for the last 5 days. From 14th March onwards, it is in the upward journey. What can be expected if you can, अगर आपको इसमें एंट्री मिलती है तो एक 58 का टारगेट मुझे श्योर दिखता है, राइट? एक 58 का टारगेट इसमें मुझको श्योर दिखाई देता है और 58 को क्रॉस करने के बाद वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट सम मोर मूवमेंट इन द अपर डायरेक्शन, राइट? बट ये मैं अभी अपने रडार पे नहीं रख रही हूँ. एक आंध्रा पेपर इज व्हाट आई कैन हैव अ लुक एट. 305 के ऊपर आंध्रा पेपर को खरीदने की अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है. इसी तरह जेके पेपर को देख लेते हैं. जेके पेपर में एक जबरदस्त रैली आई है फ्रॉम 224 टू 320. ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 40-50% का जेके पेपर ने मूवमेंट दे दिया है. तो क्या और अपसाइड एक्सपेक्ट किया जा सकता है? बिल्कुल किया जा सकता है. 325 के ऊपर अगर ये स्टॉक जाता है तो आप इस पे ले सकते हैं एंट्री. अनदर 20-30% का मूव एक्सपेक्ट किया जा सकता है. या फिर आप क्या कर सकते हो, वेट फॉर सम करेक्शन. अगर ये आपको 300 के आसपास मिलता है तो एक ज्यादा बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटी होगी. तो एक पेपर हमने डिस्कस किया है, आंध्रा पेपर एंड जेके पेपर. एक और जो पेपर स्टॉक मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है विच इज TNPL, राइट? तमिलनाडु newsprint paper, right? This looks very good to me as of now where the price is standing. We can initiate a buy above 164, right? So this could be a very good stock. अगर ये 150 तक नीचे जाता है आप इसमें और accumulation कर सकते हैं. So 3 stocks. Balakrishna, I've told you it's in upper circuit for almost last 4, 5, 6 days. अगर ये कल ब्रेकआउट देता है, आपको अगर एंट्री मिलती है, आप इसमें 58 का टारगेट लेके चल सकते हैं. आंध्रा पेपर 305 के ऊपर हम बाय करेंगे एंड टारगेट कुड बी अबाउट 350. वी कैन इजीली लुक इनटू अ टारगेट ऑफ 350. एंड तीसरा स्टॉक था जेके पेपर व्हिच लुक्स गुड. वी कैन बाय अबव 325 एंड कीप ऑन एक्यूमुलेटिंग टिल 300. मतलब अगर ये नीचे जाता है तो 300 तक आप इसको एक्यूमुलेट कर सकते हो और अबव 324 यू कैन सी एन अपसाइड टिल अबाउट 350 360 के लेवल्स आपको देखने को मिल सकते हैं. चौथा स्टॉक जो पेपर इंडस्ट्री में है वो है TNPL, राइट? तमिलनाडु न्यूज़प्रिंट पेपर. दिस ऑल्सो लुक्स वेरी गुड टू मी. कहाँ पे बाइंग करेंगे हम इसमें? 164 पे बाय करेंगे. 150 तक अगर ये नीचे जाता है हम इसमें एक्यूमुलेट करते हैं. तो आई वुड से अगर आपको स्टॉक मार्केट में पैसा बनाना है तो आप प्लीज मेरे वीडियोस वॉच करिए. टेक्निकल एनालिसिस पे है, स्टॉक सिलेक्शन पे है, आई हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट फंडामेंटल्स, आई टॉक्ड अबाउट अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. आप देखेंगे तो आपको बहुत सीखने को मिलेगा. एंड कीप लर्निंग एंड कीप अर्निंग एंड सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो. टेक केयर, बाय बाय.